Start.
Good morning, dear friends. We are here from NIT Delhi to present our topic Deep Residual Networks. Arpit Jain, with my friends, are going to present our ideas. So, this is the basic index of our PPT. First, we would like to explain the base paper which we chose, and then we will explain how the DRL technique works, and will provide the explanation and real time examples of the same. And this was the base paper which we chose. It was Deep Residual Learning for Image Recognition by Kai-Ming He, Xiang Zhang, and other Microsoft researchers. It was published in 2016. So ResNet basically solves the problem faced by deep neural networks, which we will get to in a later slide. So in this slide, we are basically explaining how deep neural networks works. So as we increase the number of layers, we increase the number of features to be recognized. So by hypothetically, we should have achieved a more accurate results. But later on our analysis, they found out that this was not happening. So these are the results of 20 layer versus 56 layer neural networks. So in 20 layer neural networks, we found out that training error was quite less as compared to 56 layers. But as per our hypothesis, the training error in 56 layers should be even lesser. So this didn't happen, and this also provides the outcome that the situation is of not of overfitting. As in overfitting, the training error for 56 layers should be low. So this was something definitely different. So in order to in order to cope up with this, we introduce skip connections, which we will get to in around in later section of a video.
So yes, from here I can continue. Thanks, Arpit. Yeah. So it is the case of the vanishing gradient. In the vanishing gradient is something like in the back propagation we do the derivative of the function, and in that case when there are more than 2 3 layers, there occurs something like vanishing gradient, which means that the derivative of of the things, of the weights and all of the function will reduce and point to something like of nearly equal to zero in that case, in the case of backward propagation. So the weights which we do have which we want to reuse in case of the vanish in case of the backward propagation in other layers, we uh, the gradient becomes zero. So the weights also become zero in that case. So this problem used to occur in case of many of the neural networks. To overcome this problem, we use ResNets. Yeah. So in case of the backward propagation, what is the formula is dE by dx1 is equal to dE by dxl by dxi. So in case of the backward propagation, these are in the multiplication. So as soon as we do the derivative, all thing becomes zero, so weights become zero. So our accuracy become less in that case. So there is a lossy in the vanishing gradient. Yeah. So in our case, in case of the ResNet, we do have a smooth backward propagation as xl is equal to xl plus f of xi, when we derivate it, it will become 1 plus d by dxl summation of fxi. So so there is a 1 plus something like that. So the gradient will automatically not will decrease to 0, 10 to 0. So our weights will lie, will live in case of the backward propagation. So the gradient flow is in the form of the addition rather than the multiplication. Hence the gradient are unlikely to vanish. Starting up with DRL. So let us assume our activation function initially is AL, and it goes to AL plus 1, and from the first layer, and to the second layer it becomes AL plus 2. It is a simple activation function that is anything like any activation function like ReLU, anything like that. So let us assume of some of the computation steps. Like let us say if our first step is to a linear layer and then a ReLU layer and then again a linear layer, then again a ReLU. So in the first equation, AL will become equal to for the AL, it will become the equation will become ZL plus 1 equal to weights into the our AL matrix plus bias. So ZL plus 1 is equal to WL plus 1, the next weights, and AL plus BL plus 1. After that, we will apply a ReLU to the linearity to get AL plus 1. So it is governed by the equation AL plus 1 equal to G of ZL plus 1. It is a simple equation that is being given for the any of the neural network. So for the ReLU case, so in that case, we have approached from linear to ReLU, and then again we have linear in this case. So again, linear would give us the equation ZL plus 2 equal to weights into our A matrix and plus the bias for the next layer AL plus 2. This would be given, and finally we have let's say we have another ReLU, then AL plus 2 is equal to G of ZL plus 2, right? So in case of the ResNets, we found something that this AL plus 2 is equal to G of ZL plus 2. It can be removed, and there can be a skip connection between them, and AL plus 2 will directly be equal to Z of L plus 2 plus AL. So we have made a simple path from linear layer to this ReLU after that by our ResNets. From the first diagram, so we can make a line over from AL to directly to this here. So we jump from AL to AL plus 2, and magical skip path is being developed. So this skip path is also known as shortcut path. So we can draw it over there. Yeah. So the main pair can be skipped, and a shortcut pair is being generated in our layer, and this AL to linear to ReLU to linear to ReLU can be this block can be summation can be did summation and make it into a single pair single residual unit, and it can be replaced by a single residual unit. So the deep insights before the mapping of it. It's like we have earlier we have seen for the 2 layers only, 2 to 3 layers only. Now, if there are many layers, like in the case of image processing or anything like that, where we do have to do something of thousands of layers. So fx here we have given x, and after the ReLU, we directly go from this x is directly put it into the equation of fx plus x in our ResNet case. So this equation is being constructed for the LF for the L plus 1th part, x plus if we do have many of layer for the XLF layer, XL plus 1 is equal to XL plus f of XL. And for the next layer, similarly, x of L plus 2 is equal to x of L plus 1, the previous layer, plus f of XL plus 1, and we can substitute XL plus 1 from this equation to the next equation. That will become XL plus 2 is equal to XL plus FXL plus FXL plus 1. So XL would be generated in terms of XL and XL plus 1. Similarly, coming on to the last layer, XL would be generated in terms of all the summation of the previous layers. So we have already found it. The previous layer function is already been found, is there in our case. So we can so there occurs a shortcut part in between them. From XL, we can count XL in terms of all the functions using that shortcut path. So this is the traditional difference between what we already do have in our traditional neural networks. We do have only the series of layers, but in case of our DRL, we in ResNets we do have a skip connection. So there is a mixture of 2 to the power I-1 configuration of every possible combinations of previous I-1 residual models. So there is something like 2 to the power I-1 and then skip to 2 to the power I-1 and then skip to 2 to the power I-1. Yeah, from here I think Arpit can continue. Over to you,
Thank you,
Arpit.
Tanesh. Thank you, Tanesh, for providing wonderful insights on the topic. So here I would like to discuss different comparisons of different networks with ResNet. So this graph basically tells us about how different networks perform with the increasing number of layers. As we can see, ResNet is at number one with 3.57 percentage of error, and second is GoogleNet, and then VGGA, AlexNet, and then Shallow Network. So as we can see that with less number of layers, the error percentage was quite high. Next slide, please. So these are basically the results which we got on our CIFAR data 10 dataset. So as we can see, Highway, which is a direct network with 19 layers, had 2.3 million parameters and which got an error percentage of 7.5%. As we increase the number of layers to 32, our parameter decreased to 1.25 million, but our error percentage increased to 8.8%. So this is what we intend to solve by ResNet technology. In ResNet, as we can see, with 20 layers, the parameters are 0.27 million and error percentage was 8.75%. As we increase the number of layers to 32, at 32, the error percentage was decreased to 7.5, and this trend continued till 110 layers, and our error percentage was 6.4%. But when we increase the number of layers to 1200, the error percentage started to increase again. This happened because of overfitting. As we can check in the diagram, in our graph, the dotted line represents the training error. And as we can see, the training error didn't increase with the number of layers. So from here, we can conclude that the error which increased was because of overfitting. And these two graphs basically compares a plain network with our ResNet. And dotted line represent the training error. And as we can see, with increasing number of layers, the training error increased in normal technology. But in our ResNet, the training error with number of layers increased was decreased. So this is what we intended to solve in this paper. And this slide basically presents if we use different short function for short mapping, not identity. So as Tanish discussed, the hx is a short mapping function. So if we use identity function, our error was 6.6%. But if we replace it by constant scaling, like hx will be 0.5x, the error will increase to 12%. And similarly, if we increased it, if we replaced our function by gating function or convolution or dropout, our error percentage increased. So by this we can conclude that the identity function was the most appropriate function, which gave the least amount of error. From here, I would like my friend Abhishek Sharma to continue.
Yeah, thank you, Arpit. So in this slide, we compare the training loss which we have when we use the identity function as a gating as the activation function and any other function. So we can see from the graph that the training loss is very less when we use h as identity function. So next slide. The scaling the skip connection. If h is multiplicative, for example, like h of x is lambda x, the forward and the backward is denoted by the following equation. And when we take the derivative, we see that if the lambda is very large or small, then it makes a very problematic situation like overfitting and underfitting. So this that is why lambda's value is very important to be chosen. Next slide. So yeah, this is a real life example. The densely connected CNN, which was a novel architecture proposed by the scientist, it was also called DenseNet. It further exploits the shortcut effect, which was from the ResNet. It connects all the layers along directly with each other. It is a novel architecture. The input of each layer is a feature map of all earlier layer, and its output is passed to each subsequent layer. The feature maps are aggregated with depth concatenation. This is a very highly used application of in image classification. So next slide. Yeah, so here we come at the conclusion of the research. So as we see that as we increase the number of layers, the training error tend to decrease. But after a while, it did not tend to go back up. In theory, if you want to try to make a neural network deeper, it should have less training error to match it with theory. ResNet, that is why ResNet are used. So from the graph, we can see that when we use ResNet, then as we increase the number of layers, the training error is decreasing, which matches the theory. And 1,000 layer ResNet can easily be trained and have a better accuracy. This can be inferred from the graphs. So next slide. Yes, these were some of the references which we took. And next, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you.